just pure wear and tear here. Looking good. So welcome back. In today's video we are getting ready for scanning. Not my scanning sheep. Pádraig, my scanner man, you might have seen him in a couple of my videos from beginning of this year where he scanned my ewes and my ewe lambs. This is his crate, so it's hard to believe he's getting ready for scanning already, but some of the earlier pedigree or purebred flocks will be lambing around Christmas. Scanning will be the next job for them, so I have to get the crate ready for Pádraig. Few things wrong with it, pure wear and tear. He will have hundreds of thousands of sheep ran through this. Now I would have tightened it up for him before. Bit of wear and tear on it. I'll give you a look at what the story with it is. So if you're wondering what the plastic is, this is his workbench and his little seat in here. Pádraig likes to keep it simple. No fancy trailers for him. But anyway, this is what's wrong with it. So bit of wear and tear. You'll see the main opener for the gate here. Wear and tear on all the bushings, you'll see that. Same up here. Just a lot of wear. Even these little catches here where it slides over, a little bit of wear on them. This one's the same. Look at the work that is done. The wear on that. So sometimes there's actually a headlock in this as well. Just about this box here. Give you a look at that. So there is a little bit of wear on these as well. So these this is actually the headlock. You'll see that one catches the sheep's head there. Now there's a lot of wear on that. You can see that. See how much clay is on that. So you'll see significant wear down here as well on the main pivots on the bottom. Now, I'm not sure what we're going to do with that, but we get something done. All these pivot points as well, all worn. Quite a lot of wear there. He wants something done with the ramp as well at the back. He says a little bit too wide to drop down inside another race, so plenty to do with it. We'll get a wheel into the workshop here and make a start. So you'll see here, this is the main handle for opening the front gate. It's just pure wear and tear from just use. So Pádraig could be running up to 1,000 ewes per day in the peak scanning period, early January, those first couple of weeks. For our mid-season flocks, that's his busiest time. So it's a busy little crate, just pure wear and tear. So I suppose the first job is we'll open these bolts up here and see what's going on with the main pivots. I'd imagine it's wear on the bolt and the steel. We'll get a look at it. So it is actually quite worn, the bolt. There's your bolt. It's quite worn. It's just pure wear and tear here. So what am I going to do? There's a few different options. So probably the best option is to get some new steel, drill holes in it, send it off for galvanizing, but then you start to wonder, the crate is quite old. There was another option, use this stuff. It's bushing, it's a perfect 12mm hole in it, so I could cut a little sliver off this, tack it onto the plate. It'll act as it'll take all that slack up. I'm not convinced it's the best job because I'm welding black or untreated steel onto galvanized steel. So talk myself out of that. So I think the easiest option is go up a bolt size. Everything is originally M12, going to go up to M14. So you'll see here actually the hole is practically the size anyway. It's very, very close. There's only about 0.5 millimeter to take off that to bring it up to 14. So that'll take all the slack out of it. Now I'd prefer to have bolts with a longer shank on it for wear, but I think when these bolts are wore out, the next time the crate's going to be worn out, it's going to be a new job upgrade, I'd say, after this. So for drilling out, I have the mag drill with a 14mm bit, but because you're only reaming out a very small bit, I don't think the roach or the mag bit is very good for that. It's very hard on the edge of the teeth. So I got a twist drill bit. I couldn't get a cobalt bit, so it's just an ordinary black drill bit with a reduced shank on it to suit my drill. I'm going to try this in the cordless. It's going to be quite hard on it to drill it, but I have actually a chuck for the mag drill. I could do that in the mag drill, but I think we'll use the cordless. We'll see how it goes. I think 13mm is the maximum recommended size for this, but we'll give it a go. Little bit of engine oil, that's all. There we go, not much drilling on that. There was very little steel to take off that. There we go, that's a nice snug fit. Nice and snug. Right, we'll keep going. Plenty of these to do. So you'll see, I'm using a barrel here as a workbench. Not to be recommended without taking a bung out. Now, I have a bung out here. I've always at least one bung out. The simple reason is, if you forget, and it's happened to me, I almost died. Rush job on a Monday. I was at a shed, I was making door frames at a time. I used to use barrels quite a bit at the corner of big door frames. So I was making 2 doors at the one time. I had 8 barrels used up. I was doing a repair job. I think it was on a bale wrapper on the drawbar. It was cracked. And rushing about, went to get a barrel, forgot to take the bung out. So I was welding away on the top of it. The barrel actually exploded. Now I knew there was a danger, but I actually forgot. Stupidly forgot to take the bung out or put a hole in the barrel. The barrel exploded and it almost killed me. It actually bust my eardrum, and I had a 4-pound lump hammer on the barrel. It fired at about 100 yards down the field. I only found it one day. I was gathering sheep. I said that's where my lump hammer went, but it was very close. I had a brand new coat on me and it actually blew the sleeves off the coat. So very dangerous. Just a word of warning to some budding workshop enthusiasts. If you're using a barrel as a bench, take a bung out. Safety tip for the day. Definitely going to be much tighter after this. So we get this, that's the opening and closing mechanism for the front gate all drilled. Have to get this headlock done next. That's all this mechanism. Quite a bit of moving parts on this, so we've a bit more drilling to do. We'll rattle through that now. These brackets I'm just drilling here are for the restraint that catches the sheep's head. The biggest problem is actually down the bottom here on these. You'll see a serious amount of wear on them. This side as well. Not sure what we're going to do with that, but we'll get these top ones drilled first. That's quite a bit of wear in there. There we go. So that's how this bar comes out. Quite a lot of wear on the bottom of this. Going to have to do something with that. And this as well. So the next job is the bottom of these neck bars. Serious wear on this. So the bottom bushing is so worn that a 16mm piece of round steel fits in here nice and snug. You see that? It's nice and tight. So we're just going to replace these bottom lugs down underneath. This one's actually a little bit tight. Let's see if I can give you a look at that. It's just not coming up the whole way, but I can ream that out with a little reamer I have, and we'll replace the bottom pivots on the bottom stubs, I should say, or spuds on the bottom of the crate. We'll replace them with this 16mm. So that's a little bit stronger than what's in it, and it should outlast the crate. Quickest way, handiest way, probably the best way too. Now I could really do with one of those high-speed reamers. That's the bit I'm using. Now the cordless drill will do it at high speed. It gets me out. But look, probably the next investment I should make, because I seem to use this quite a bit. Lovely job, nice snug fit. So we get a couple of these spuds cut, get them welded underneath. So that's the two stubs that I cut off, and that's what I've replaced them with. So you'll see the difference in the thickness of steel. So that's why there was quite a bit of play on that bottom neck where it pivots, the neck bars where the pivot. So this is a bit of adjustment here. This pin, Pori can move this into different hole positions. And I think what this does is it doesn't alter the locking position, but it alters how much the neck bars close. So bigger shape like Suffolks or Purebred Textiles or something along them lines. Necks are a bit wider, so Pori's able to adjust this. And then as well as that, if he's scanning lambs, he can move this over into a different position. It pulls the bars in a little bit tight around the sheep's head. So quite a bit of play in this too. It's pure wear on the pin, I think. I'll give you a look at that. So I don't know if we make a new pin maybe for that. So I think what we do is we just use a bolt and we drill a hole that he can put his R clip into it. So we'll just cut off the thread, we'll cross drill the bolt, and we'll put an R clip in it like this, and that can replace this because it is quite snug, not much play in that. So it's a nice snug fit. The R clip fits in. Lovely job. The other thing Pádraig mentioned in particular on the crate was these little pieces of steel here are well worn. So these are the locking mechanism. When he closes the gate, it rides up on that and it drops in behind it. It's a little bit worn, and I think what's happening is they're fit to escape out of the headlock. I don't think this one is too bad. The one for the front gate is fine. It's the neck rails, the neck bars. This locking mechanism is well worn here. So what's happening here is it's actually hopping up over it. So I think the best thing is cut this off and we'll replace it. We'll just put a new piece, maybe with a slight slope in that way, so that the pressure is trying to pull it down rather than it riding back up, because it is actually sloped back up that way a little bit. So when the pressure comes on, it's just able to hop up and the sheep are escaping, because when Pádraig actually uses this, he doesn't always use the front gate. He sometimes just use the neck bars for catching the sheep as they're running to the race. So it gets quite a bit of abuse, this one. So we'll maybe cut that off and renew it. Just run it outside here and avoid filling the workshop with metal dust and filings. So I have a piece of flat here. It's 12mm thick by 50mm wide. Just going to cut a little triangular piece out of it. So that's the little piece of steel, just a little triangular wedge. I might actually put a little slope on it back here. It'll help it, stop it from slipping out on Pádraig. We'll do that in the belt sander. It's remarkable how much work this machine has done. It's unbelievable. And I'll show you why. Look at the wear on that. Where it's been sliding here. That's just pure wear sliding over and back on this. So, before this handle breaks off, I'm just going to build that up with welding. Now, a new handle would probably be better, but it's just a refurb. So this piece welded on, this rebuilt, re-drilled, new pin. Let's see what it feels like. This was the part with the most wear on it. So let's see what it feels like. That sits in there. Little washer just to take up the slack space. Just to bolt in. Nice and tight. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Now I've just discovered another wee problem here. There was one that I noticed the gate was sagging down. So on closer inspection, the threads are actually damaged on this. It's an adjustable eye bolt. So you'll see it's quite loose here. So I can't tighten it. The gate is sagging down. So easiest thing, I actually have one in stock, oddly enough. Very useful. The threads are actually quite damaged. So the easiest thing is to just cut this off. So I'll just use the wee mini grinder just to snig it off, and I can just fit in the new one now. So a little bit of freon oil for this job. It's worth freon oil called Ultra 2040. Now, I had some people asking me, this is for the sheep people. I had some people asking me what I use for orf and lambs. Petrol, it's quite severe, but it works a treat. Orf will be gone in a few days. Even sheep with orf on their teats or spins. This stuff, it's better than petrol, because the petrol you have to get a glove on and cup in your hand and rub it on, or rub it on the nose. So this stuff, it's quite good. Stand back, give it a wee spray on the nose, guaranteed it'll kill it. Severe again, but orf is nasty. Whatever kills it, works. Wee tip for the sheep people. Now, just going to grease these pivots up for longer service life. I'm pretty sure it's not something that's done too often. Might sponsor Ulrich a tin of spray grease. He could do it every now and again. It'll definitely add to the lifespan of the pivots. A little bit of grease. Now, so we'll just get these linkages put back together. Bolts in at the top of the neck bars. Nice and snug. Much tighter than the wear. Pretty happy with that. Next job is get a few linkages in here. So when I'm doing this, it's the one chance it's going to get. I'm actually going to put loads of grease on it. Pin and bush grease again. Going to help the lifespan of it. Looking good. I'm putting a washer between each flat of steel. That'll help the mechanism pivot, less friction. I've just noticed something here. I actually had these bolts pointing down. From a welfare point of view, not overly happy with it. Sheep tearing out, rubbing the top of that bolt. There's a chance of them hurting themselves, so I'm just going to flip them upside down. That's it all tightened up. It is pretty nice. Yeah, the linkages are unbelievably tight. Very happy with that. Top and bottom, all these bolt holes nice and snug. Nice and tight, gate's working well. This linkage is, and well, there's a saying here around me, as tight as tuppence. It's nice and snug now. You'll see them neck bars are pretty tight, and it's gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pivots. So we've all the play taken out of it. Pretty happy with that. So I renewed this one. I will put the wee slope on it, so that will stop that one from hopping open if a sheep hits it. This one here, just not sure. The front gate, I would say, gets a lot of abuse. Not just sure it'll be a success. So I'm going to take a little bit off this. Now I can't get in with the angle grinder, so I'm just going to use the reamer again and the drill. Another good reason to have a battery powered reamer. Someday, maybe, might invest. Surprising what you'll do with that. I'll just give you a closer look here. So just took the little radius out of that, so when the bar comes in, it just kind of locks into it. So Porrick will have to give it a wee lift just to get it to unlock. Better that than your sheep escaping. Now, the other thing he asked me to look at was this back door. So when it was made, for some reason they made it tapered. But the problem is, it's too wide. So if the device is backed up against a handling system or a race, it'll just about fit in here, but as it widens out, it just won't fit in. So he's asked me, I have to renew this pivot here. It's pretty well worn. I'll just give you a look at that. You can see all the play in that. So I have to redo the pivot. So he's asked me to have a look at maybe narrowing in the door. I'm not sure what's the best job here. After a bit of chopping, I've trimmed it down, so I've narrowed this much off both sides. It was tapered out, so I've chopped off a bit. I can take off these two legs as well. The next job is get it welded up. Now, so I've got a new pin made up. It's a bit of galvanized round bar. It's an unusual size. It's actually 18mm diameter. So it fits the existing bushings that are here. So we'll just slide on my new pipes that I made up. Quite a bit of play on them. Quite a bit of play on them on the old ones. These ones we cut off. They're well worn. They're actually worn into an oval, so no harm changing them. So just an end on the pin here as well. Now, so the door just sits up here. We get this welded on. Next job. So it's hinging pretty well. We'll get it welded here and here, and the same on the back. Get this cap fixed. That'll be the door sorted then. It'll drop in between the hurdles of a race, or the panels of a race. Make it a bit easier, just back it up, hook it on. Lovely job. The one chance, before I put on this end cap on the end of the shaft, the one chance, stick a bit of grease on it. I'm going to do it, and it might last a little bit longer. It's not going to last forever, but it'll help. Bolts actually not too bad. Bit of wear, but look at this. Serious bit of wear there. We'll cut this off and re-drill it. Last a little bit longer. So this clamp here is a poor enough kind of a design, and it's well worn anyway. You'll see the clip is pretty worn. It was tied up with a bit of baler twine, farmer's friend, when it came to me. So I might try and do something with this. It's actually sitting sideways. These clips are designed to sit upright, but it can't work upright because it's so close to this. So I might come up with a plan to try and improve this clip, maybe renew it. So here's a new clip I have. It's the only one I have in the workshop. It's actually a threaded one, but it should work. So I've cut a little bit of my heavy wall boss. That'll slide on here, and a nut on the back of it. So if I can take up this bit of free play. So I've just cut this little angle iron. It's a bit of 5mm stuff, I'd say. I have to trim this bit off it. So that will fit in here. Just mark a centre hole in it. see how it works. Lovely. Nice snug job, no rattle. Next job is in here. You just see some of the stock board here is starting to come loose. I think I have a couple of screws for this. So I started using these screws for fixing on sheeting. They're kind of like a tech screw, quite a fine point. Yeah, 4.2 mil, 12 mil long. It's kind of like a washer built onto it as well. Better than a tech screw. I found tech screws quite good at catching animals, especially in the likes of this, wool catching on it all the time. Now that's the sheeting stock board stuck back on with those nice flat screws. Safe as a house now. So you'll see this little gate here. There is lugs here for it, but when it was made, the lugs that were put in it are actually just a round hole. So the problem is when the gate's put on, if the ground isn't level, which can happen, the gates actually won't work. So I'm just going to change these lugs now to a longer slotted hole. This gate is more suitable here because what I remember, he needs his arm full access in here. So this gate suits, rather than using a different type of hurdle, this gate suits because the piece is already taken out of it. So we'll cut off these lugs and we'll fit a longer slotted type hole in it. We'll get that done next. Lugs have been fitted. You'll see the slotted holes here. They kind of allow for a little bit of movement on the frame itself. Now the crate is finished, loaded up here on Porrick's trailer. We extended these bars here, these lugs, for the extension we put on these. So she's ready for work. So the main man here with me, he's back scanning, he's ready for another. How many O's would you say you've done since I fixed that up for you before? I was guessing 200,000.
Yeah, so we do 75,000 a year.
Yeah, it's at least 3 years since I've done it. Yeah. So you have about a couple of 100,000.
Gone through it.
Yeah. You'll nearly be heading for retirement when you've spun out the next time.
Maybe this month.
Well, I haven't let the rams out yet, but believe it or not, Porrick's actually scanning. The pedigree flocks are...
Yeah.
The Christmas lambers. We're now early October, so the Christmas lambers are just starting really.
Yeah, Charlie sheep.
Of course, they're all
Suffolk sheep.
Indoor lambing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Texas don't generally lamb until the 1st of February, so we don't scan them for another month.
Yeah.
But some of the Charlie sheep are starting, some of the Suffolk sheep are starting.
Right. So you'll be hitting a peak maybe around Christmas or a little after?
Well, the peaks, yeah, around Christmas, yeah,
Yeah.
for the main. There's not much not much lamb, we say, apart from the pedigree Texel pedigree sheep breeders, there's not that much commercial fat lambs anymore.
Are you going for the early spring lamb, which for the meat is too expensive?
No.
So it's a mug scale.
I used to have
really,
9 or 10 flocks of those, and they're probably down to 2 or 3 of them now.
Yeah, yeah,
So the main commercial sheep then start around the 1st of December on.
yeah. Aye. Your scanning starts
Oh, yeah.
later on. Well, there you go. You heard it from the horse's mouth. Now, somebody commented on one of my videos that March lambing is a waste of time, but Scanner's own opinion here, most of the commercial flocks are
90%.
lambing, 90%.
Definitely from the 1st of March on, but from St. Patrick's Day on.
Yeah.
So from mid-January on, it's just, you can't answer the phone.
So when you get another 200,000 done, she'll be spun out now. We'll make you a new one.
Me and you will be spun out.
Well, I'm heading that way already.
But we should be looking for the next generation of sheep scanners.
Anyone coming on?
No, we have Kieran on board, but there's no young. We need the next crop of lads. They're not
There
around.
you go. There's a few pound in it, I think.
There is.
Yeah. Hard work, long days.
It's a 3-year apprenticeship. You're not scan much sheep the first year, and you get a wee bit better the second year. And
Yeah.
on year 3 you should be up and running.
There you go. Room for an apprenticeship here
Correct.
with Pádraig. He'd
Correct.
take you on.
All over the country.
A lot of the younger generation want to sit at the computer, but it's an indoor office job, and unfortunately
But
that's
this is a
not
good
the
life
vision.
too.
Yeah, of course it is. You're getting out to meet people.
And good men and good women, yeah.
Yeah.
Difficult weather, difficult time of year, but other than that,
Yeah,
it ain't bad.
yeah, well, sure.
And a good career. It would suit some of the lads that shearing sheep, probably to go shear in the summertime.
Ah,
and
it's
scan in
quiet
the
that
autumn.
time. Yeah, well, I see Cammy on the sheep game.
Yeah,
at
he does that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
He moved into that.
Yeah.
And
But
yeah.
definitely, young lads should, or your lassie should be looking into that.
Yeah, good man. Well, I don't think I'll have time to take it up. Not at my stage of life.
Oh, you're too old.
Dice is giving up now. Right, that's it. We're going to wrap it
Thank
up
you.
here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a like, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
If you haven't done so already, get behind a great cause, Ireland versus England. We need to reach 10k subscribers, Ireland versus England. On the Ireland side, we have YouTube and the very handsome David from Sheep School. And we have Will from Cowley Hill and Chris from Super Serious. So please, if you haven't done so already, click the button, give us a follow and a subscribe. Over and out. Rubber ducky.